This week in history.
And I feel fine. 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
All right, Johnny. So first up, I got Napoleon decides it's a great idea to invade Russia on June 24th, 1812.
Oh, it's a bit cold. It's a bit cold. It's a bit cold.
It's a bit cold. It's a bit cold. Run away, run away, run away. This is also known as the French invasion of Russia, the Patriotic War of 1812 for the Russians, or if you're Polish, the Second Polish War.
Oh.
So Napoleon decides to invade Russia via crossing the Niemen River, and he does pretty well when it's warm in June.
Yeah. Yep. Not
Things
so
kinda-
bad in Russia in June.
No, things changed pretty quickly, though. His hopes here were to encourage the Russian Emperor Alexander I to stop trading with the British merchants through proxies in an effort to have the UK sue for peace. So let me clarify this. Napoleon's at war with England.
Yeah.
Russia is trading with England
Yeah.
through proxies. They're not even directly trading with England.
Right. Through
They're
like
just
Norway or Sweden or something.
yes. So he thinks in order to get UK, England, to sue for peace, I'm going to attack Russia. I'm going to open up a second front and attack Russia.
So, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like something.
I mean, it's not the first time that opening up a second front against Russia would go incredibly well, right?
Yeah, right? People would learn from history. Any case, he allies himself with Poland because Russia's kind of picking on Poland at this point. Because let's be honest, in all of the history of Poland, they've kind of been the little brother you pick on.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody picks on Poland.
Yeah, I know very
So-
little about it except that everybody
Everybody
names them
picks on
all
Poland.
the time.
And that's why it's called the Second Polish War. And as we already alluded at, his invasion would famously end in horrific defeat because it gets really cold. And in December 1812, he says, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go home. This was a mistake.
This was too cold.
Napoleon's Grand Army would have 685,000 people. They would
Wow.
lose 340 to 400,000.
Woof.
Jesus Christ. 50,000 would be wounded and 80,000 would desert, which 500,000 wounded, sorry, and 80,000 would desert, which is hilarious. Like the 80,000 said, fuck this, it's cold.
Yeah, I'm going to go find me some nice Russian woman and settle down.
Settle down. Russia would have 488,000 men total, 150 to around 200,000 dead, 150 wounded, 50,000 also deserted because we're in Russia. Fuck this, it's cold. I'm going to find a nice Russian woman.
Go get a potato farm.
Something. The next thing I got is Karl Benz. Yes, that's Benz from Mercedes-Benz.
Ah,
Would receive a U.S. patent for a gasoline-driven auto on June 26th, 1894. So
All
he did
right.
his first U.S. patent.
right.
So a little bit about this patent. Karl Benz, first off, acknowledges himself, even back then, that he wasn't the first to invent the automobile.
Right.
There were a ton of German scientists that were working on it at the same time. A ton of them were working at different facilities. He said it's impossible to determine really who made the first, but he gets credited for the first successful auto.
And had a patent on it.
He gets his first patent in 1885, but it's a little bit misleading because his actual first auto was a two-stroke engine that he tested on New Year's Eve in 1879. So as far back as like, it amazes me how early like automobiles were being toyed with. Like I didn't the Wild West. It's
As soon as
entirely possible that you've got cars driving around.
Right. Yeah. As soon as they figured out how to kind of melt and mold and fit metal and stuff, they got like a little bit of an idea, and then it's just you get people tinkering with stuff, you know.
His 1885 patent, which would also be the 1894 patent in the U.S. The 1885 comes from Germany.
Okay.
It was a two-seater car, 3 wheels, and these are big like stroke, like think of the old-timey bicycle wheel like things is kind of
Yeah.
what they
Well,
look like.
they're like wagon wheels, basically.
They're like basically
because
wagon wheels,
because they were just trying to
It's a
motorize
horseless
carriages.
carriage.
Yeah, they were trying to motorize carriages.
It had a one-cylinder, high-speed, single-cylinder, 4-stroke engine with a
Now-
whopping 0.75 horsepower.
Oh boy, that's not great. Now, I don't know if you know, was this when a lot of a couple of the really early mass produced as they were
Yeah.
then, cars had like levers for the steering and stuff. Was
So
this
the steering on this one is like it's a pole that sticks out, and you kind of like a
Yeah.
butter churn kind of thing that you.
Okay.
That's how you steer it.
Gotcha.
And his throttle is just it's a lever that you push.
Yeah.
That basically all it's doing is unlocking the wheel.
Right. Yeah, and you just have the engine just going and just
Yeah, the
trying to
engine's
turn
going,
it.
It's a single. It's going put. The entire time it's going put. And basically, when you pull that lever off, you're releasing the brake and grabbing the belt, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's
All
you're
right.
doing. That's his car. And the last thing, Johnny, I got for you is that the United Nations, their charter is signed on June 26th, 1945. We have the United. It's not officially there yet. It's just that what they're like. This is the pre-meeting that we have to agree upon the rules, and we'll sign the official like acknowledgement thing later. But this is the This is our rules. We're going to come together. So representatives of 50 countries met in San Francisco in the United Nations Conference of International Organization.
I'll bet that was grossly
Super lit.
disorganized.
Oh, horribly. In California, why would you? Ugh. Look, to any of our foreign listeners out there, which I know there's a few, because I look on, we got some in the UK, we had some in the Netherlands. Like, cool, awesome.
Probably
awesome.
just
I'm sure they're just practicing English.
computer bots. I think.
If no, they're listeners, Johnny.
Okay.
I'm confident that they're listeners.
All right. Well, don't go to California.
Yeah, anybody who lives outside of the United States, California is a shithole. I don't know why anybody wants to live in California. I don't know why anybody does live in California. Ugh.
The bottom half of the state. Once you get up into the Redwoods, it's gorgeous.
Well, yeah, okay. I can gorgeous.
But when Americans talk about
same.
California, they talk about like San Francisco and south of that.
Yeah, and LA and
San Diego and all that.
San Diego.
San Juan.
But they still have to deal with the same garbage that is California because it's still the same people running up there too. So, but yes. But if you want the Redwood, go to Washington or Oregon.
Yeah, or Oregon.
Like just go a little bit farther north.
Just keep going north.
Yeah. Well, pretty much like for a general rule of thumb, if you're coming to the United States, just stay north. Anywhere north is okay.
That's actually
for the most part.
Yeah.
Like the South is, unless you're in the Southwest, like Arizona and New Mexico, they're okay.
There's pockets.
There's pockets of little, but it's okay. Other than that, just stay north.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we fought that war. Naturally, from the beginning, though, the very first meeting, it was mostly the United States, China, Soviet Union, and United Kingdom in a pissing match or a dick measuring competition because we're like, who gets the most votes out of us?
We're in charge, right, guys?
Yeah, we're in charge.
Everybody
you're in charge.
Everybody who at one time had an empire, please step forward.
Oh, you don't have an empire?
You don't get to play anymore. All right.
No,
we weeded out 80% of this bullshit committee anyway. So,
like I said, the charter would be signed on June 22nd by 50 nations, and we kind of forget about Poland. Whoops. They sign a couple of months later.
Well, wait.
And become
you were
the 51st
there?
nation.
I could have sworn I saw you. You were at the bar, right? No? Oh.
Once again,
didn't get
Poland's
that invitation.
Little brother that we tend to pick on and forget.
It's the guy you forget halfway home from the amusement park that you left him there.
Yep. So my last point here is the number one point in the charter, the number one rule, this is the number one goal. This is the United Nations number one goal. This is what we have the United Nations for. And I quote, "It is to maintain international peace and security, and to that end, to take effect the collective measures for the prevention and removal of threats of peace." China and Russia, or aka the Soviet Union, signed this.
Yeah.
They were a part of this.
Yeah.
Did we not see from day one that there might have been an issue?
I think they just meant like you guys are gonna do all this, right? Like you're not gonna we can keep doing what we're doing, right? Because I mean we're doing it to our people. Is that okay?
No. So Johnny, from June 26th, 1945, there's never been another war. It has been peace. The UN has been 100% successful. It's peace in our land.
That is such good news, Tom. I'm so glad that you told me that, because I could have sworn that lots of bad things have happened since the UN was formed, and that maybe they didn't get rid of them at all. But
No, that's
it says
propaganda.
so in their little.
Their number one rule. They said
there you
they're gonna create peace, and they do. There's never been a problem ever since.
That's beautiful. And that's this week in history.